So you bought a new car, maybe a new boat, maybe you're a licensed pilot and you bought a new airplane. And you get in to go for a flight or drive your car or boat, and it doesn't start up. Or it starts up, but it doesn't let you drive where you want to drive or go where you want to go. There's software built in by the manufacturer that controls the vehicle. Maybe it even doesn't even unlock for you. It won't let you drive at a certain time or start your vehicle. That, in essence, is what was going on with DJI and the drones. Um, with the geofencing, it basically was controlling when and where you flew your drone. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's good. We should be able to control where people fly their drones. But if you want to accept that, then you're going to accept that everything that can be controlled remotely, that sends a signal via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or the internet, um, is going to be controlled by somebody else maybe. And everything you do is going to be watched and restricted and prohibited and all that. And that shouldn't be DJI's responsibility, or really any manufacturer. Same thing with firearms. It's your responsibility to use that product correctly. Now we know more and more. A lot of people don't. They're unfortunately, we saw just recently with a couple electric trucks. People used them for terrorist activities, to try to harm other people, and that's a sad reality of our society. But that doesn't mean we should give up our freedoms, give up our own responsibilities. And the majority of people are responsible. They follow the laws, they follow the rules. It's a relatively small handful that are constantly breaking them. And a huge problem right now is they get away with it. They get a slap on the wrist. Our legal system basically has allowed them to get away with things that they should be punished for, and it should send a message to everybody else that if you do this, you're going to have harsh consequences. Now, as far as drones, probably 99% of the people who fly them do it correctly. They learn the rules, the requirements, and that they follow them, and really didn't need geofencing to tell them, where they can go or when they can fly, or to allow them to start up their drones. And frankly, DJI was doing this, it seems, more as a courtesy to the FAA. It's the FAA's responsibility to control airspace. It shouldn't be the manufacturer having to put this in there and update the software and all that to control your drone. Now, folks are going to say, well, it's a Chinese company and they can, control your drone, which I haven't seen any Chinese companies do it other than restricting through geofencing. But they can gather information. Well, the reality is pretty much everything electronically now you own that uses Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the internet, your phone apps, is collecting data and sending it somewhere. Your television, your computer, your smartphone, your watch in many cases. they're all, even some of the new vehicles that use GPS and collect data and send it back and forth and all that. They're all almost all made by Chinese companies. So it's not just DJI, and they're almost all collecting information and sending it over the internet to, Google, Facebook, uh, Amazon, all these other companies that collect data on us. And so I actually agree with DJI removing that geofencing. Put the responsibility back on us, the Americans, like it typically has been for most of our history. Self-reliance, self-responsibility, where we are responsible for our actions, not the government, not some agency, not a corporation. And if we misbehave, if we do abuse our privileges or our rights or our freedoms, then we should pay the consequence. As far as drones, the FAA still has restricted airspace. They still control, or they still, have places that you can't fly, special events, sporting events. And if you do fly in, almost all drones have remote ID that allows the FAA to identify the drone and you. So that's one tool they have. And if they wish to set up some sort of geofencing, they should be able to do it. Use new technology to jam or to keep drones out of certain areas. But again, it shouldn't be the manufacturer's responsibility to put this in and to control your drone, basically, and control your actions. So I know probably half the country disagrees. I know I've seen a lot of liberals and conservatives upset about DJI doing this. But for me, somebody who believes that we should be responsible for ourselves, the government shouldn't. The government should not be controlling our lives. We shouldn't rely on the government to feed us and clothe us and house us and provide us an income. That shouldn't be that. That creates more problems than it solves. So, and eventually it just keeps moving more and more in the direction where we are owned, we're controlled, we're basically reliant on this big bureaucracy, this government. And that's not the way it should be anywhere, especially here in the United States. So again, I applaud DJI. I support them. And like most people, I'll be responsible. I know there's some that won't, but the majority of people who aren't, the criminals, the terrorists, they're going to find a way around it anyway. They'll build their own drones, without the geofencing, without that technology. So it's silly to try to basically punish everybody for the actions of a few. So I'm going to go out and fly my drone. It's a little windy out, but I might get a little bit of FPV flying in, and that's my take on it.